Hello, hello, Samir. How are you today and where are you dialing from?
Hi, Kat. Kate? Kat?
Yes, yes,
Which one?
Kate.
Kate. I'm dialing in from Dubai.
Wonderful. And how are you doing today? Is it hot in Dubai or now it's bearable?
It's bearable, but it's always been bearable. I always enjoy the weather,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I find it quite amusing when people complain about the weather because it creates a reality, right? And I think that's what we're going to be talking about today as well, about how we talk to ourselves as much as we talk to others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for joining my hot seat session. The purpose of the session is to help companies, businesses, and just entrepreneurs all over the world to address their blind spots and gain competitive edge with the help of our wonderful mentors, which is you. So my first question to you is actually rather simple, and it's just to introduce yourself.
It might sound simple to a lot of people, and it sounds like a simple question, but for a few, it is probably the hardest question. How do you
The
describe
hardest.
yourself? Because we are usually uh, describing ourselves with the job that we do most of the time, right? Most of the people, they describe themselves by their careers, and uh, they forget the other pieces of who they are. The most simplest way that I would describe myself is I'm a conversationalist who listens deeply, who is passionate about somebody else's journeys, very curious, always looking to learn, always exploring new ideas, new facets, and seeing how I can connect the dots differently. Because as Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots backwards. So I'm looking at what's there to connect and how can I make meaning out of the madness that we are always exposed to. So that's me.
Absolutely. This is a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. I'm actually really excited to talk about conversation today because, as you said, we are both conversationalists and we have a lot to discuss today. And I personally feel that, the power of conversation is a little bit, undervalued. Sometimes we just neglect how important it actually is. So, my first questions to you is, can you tell our audience how effective communication can actually impact not just individuals but whole businesses in this modern world?
I always connect conversations to breathing. So we breathe from the time we are born, and we don't think about breathing until we go for yoga classes, right? And then suddenly you realize, oh, there's a better way to breathe, and it has such a big, profound impact. And same with conversations. You don't think about conversations, you just have conversations from the time you're born. And when we start thinking about conversations instead of just having conversations, I think we begin to realize everything that we do happens in the space of a conversation. Everything. Whether you are speaking to a colleague, whether you are creating productive results, whether you are speaking to suppliers, whether you are creating great outcomes, whether you're doing goal setting, whether you're setting strategies, whether you are leading teams, everything is happening in the space of a conversation. And the thing that we must all ask ourselves is, what are we doing to measure the quality of a conversation? Number one, what are we doing to improve the quality of a conversation? uh, are we taking enough feedback about our conversation styles, and are we taking enough uh, setting metrics to actually measure them? Because if we do that, then everything will improve. So I say, if the quality of a conversation improves, the quality of our relationship improves. And if the quality of our relationship improves, the quality of our life improves. The quality of our businesses will improve. Yeah, everything is connected to
Absolutely.
conversations.
I definitely agree that just one word can change a lot. It can change the meaning of the whole conversation and bring a completely different outcome. So this is absolutely true. I've also got interesting because you shared with me that you published an amazing book that explores an interesting connection, between communication and how drastically it can impact one's life. So how can understanding of psychology of communication benefit one's, professional career, as you mentioned already?
That's a beautiful question. And in fact, I was having a conversation with someone this afternoon. So I have designed something as a tool for conversations. Can I show it to you? I didn't talk to you about this.
Absolutely.
It's called the Clarity Game. All right. So the Clarity Game is a tool where you have a different set of cards inside, and you pull out each one of these cards. So there are vision cards, insight, challenge, and power cards. Now, when you pull out these cards, what happens? For example, you have in some of them images, and sometimes you have some text on it. Uh, and I was having this conversation with someone who is in the corporate, and I asked her, if you had to play the game, what would you play for? And she said, I'm not very sure where my life is going. I don't know what I want to do with it. So I said, what do you want to play the game for? And she said, I want to know how can I have a meaningful career. And then we started playing the game for that. So basically, we were having conversations, but in the form of a game. And in the span of 20 minutes, she set goals for herself. She realized how she was holding herself back so much. She realized how there was so much that she was doing, even in her language, that was holding her back. I'll give you an example. So I asked her, what are you going to do? She said, I need to join Toastmasters. I need to be more clear about what I'm asking. And I said, if you replace the word need, what would you replace it with? And she said, after quite a bit of a thought, I will, or I am going to join Toastmasters. And I asked her, how do you feel the shift in energy for yourself? And she's like, this is so profound, because just by shifting that one word itself in her conversation, she became so clear about what she wants, because the need was pulling her back and telling her it's going to be difficult and I might do it. But when she claimed her power, it happened in the space of a conversation. It happened in the space of she telling herself what she's going to do. And that is the power that individuals within corporates can embrace. The moment they have clarity about where they want to go, what they want to do, the whole game shifts in a corporate setting, in how you show up as a leader, how you show up as a team member, how you show up as employees for the organization. It's a complete game shift, because you suddenly start aligning with your values and you start performing with more energy, more purpose, more clarity.
Absolutely. I think I experienced the same situation when, sometimes you're just overwhelmed with your personal life, your professional life, and then there's so much going on and you're like everywhere, but you're not, deep somewhere. And it's really hard. And you actually need to find clarity to actually finally succeed. And that's what I was able to do. So I absolutely agree with you. This is a great insight. Thank you so much. I know
Amazing.
that also, as we started talking about challenges, I know that a lot of people, face different kinds of challenges during communication. But I have a specific one. I feel like it comes to me and a lot of people all over the world. In the age of all of these remote work meetings, I feel like every company, especially during COVID, had to switch to online meetings. How can we still maintain meaningful connections? And like me, having the team all over the world, how can I connect with them and create meaningful connections?
How do you do it?
I'm trying to actually, I do connect with my coworkers outside of work, and we try to discuss, sometimes we just try to forget that the work even exists. And we try to talk about topics that are, like they've been always present: movies, arts, what do we think about religion? What do we enjoy as our hobbies? And that's when we connect. Even when we connect on such topics that are outside of work, during our work, we're able to understand each other better as people, as humans. And sometimes, my coworker might text me something, but knowing her as a person, I sometimes better understand what she actually means. And I'm able to, do her task properly, help her properly.
But why would you talk to a colleague who is in an organization about something that is personal and
No,
not professional?
Mhm. Because I want to connect with them. I don't want to treat them just as humans that I meet from, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I want them to be my friends. Of course, your relation should still stay professional, but it doesn't mean that you cannot connect with them as humans.
Do you think it is necessary for everyone to connect at a workplace?
Maybe not for everyone, but I do feel this need. I don't feel isolated anymore. I feel more understood, and I feel like I feel nowadays we don't stay at work just because of a huge salary, just because we like the company. We want to feel like we belong somewhere. We want to feel that we have a family, outside of our normal family, somewhere we can go to and feel comfortable. When I connect with my coworkers, I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm not going to work. I feel like I'm coming somewhere where people, want me to be, and I feel appreciated and I feel valued.
So, according to you, what is the starting point of connecting?
Maybe you can just start with asking, how is your day going? Do you need
No,
any
I mean,
help with anything?
so you asked
Mm-hmm.
me this question, how do we connect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, my question back to you is, to start connecting, what is the thing that you have to do before you even start connecting?
Hmm. Maybe I'm not understanding the question correctly. I mean that this at the moment I encounter the person, right? That I work with, how do I
Yeah.
start the connection?
No. So before you even decide that you
Mm-hmm.
want to connect, what is it that you're doing?
Hmm. I just see the person and I just go for it. I feel like I want to talk to that person. I want to create the connection with that person.
Exactly. So between you seeing that person and between you starting to talk, there is something that is happening in between, and that is, you said go for it. And another word for that, what I say, is intention. You set the intention that I want to connect, and
Yes, absolutely.
an intention is also a conversation you're having with yourself.
I
Do you see that?
understand. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you ask yourself, what is the conversation you're having with yourself? How are you having those conversations with yourself before you start having conversation with others? And when we are very clear about that, then what happens is we realize how uh, everything can shift for us.
You're right. Sometimes we speak externally, but we pay little attention of how we speak to ourselves internally within ourselves. This is where the real misunderstanding happens.
Yeah. And what I have seen as what this game really does, for example, the
Mm-hmm.
clarity game, is it comes from one premise. And I think even if you're not playing the game and you're leaders in organizations and you're speaking to someone who is on your team, if we come from the premise that we have all the wisdom and we have all the resources within us to succeed, because that is the reason why they have been employed, that is the reason why they have been taken on the job. There is something that was seen within them. But then what happens along the way, you start realizing, you start thinking that I know more than you, so I'm going to tell you. And when you come from that space, you are being, first of all, disrespectful of their intelligence sometimes, and you are not giving them the opportunity to create. And you're doing all of that because of the self talk that you're doing to yourself. Sometimes it is to protect your job, sometimes it is to protect your role, sometimes it is to show that you are more capable than somebody else. And these are all the starting point or intention or the self talk that you're doing for yourself that you have to. So while playing the game, what it really does is it reveals your point, your starting point, or where you are. And if we give permission and if we create the safe space for people to articulate, we can see magic happening in organizations, in teams. We can see the magic of how people will flourish so much more when you give them a voice and when you give them a safe space.
I absolutely agree. Well, now I'm so interested in learning more about this game now because I feel like I also, maybe as an employee, maybe like as a worker, I lack understanding. I have lack my own clarity a little bit, maybe. But it's something that I cannot not ask you because I saw that you're also an NLP enthusiast. Is that correct?
So I have done so many modalities, and I have gone through so many different. I've done the CTI, I've done the NLP, I've done so many other programs, read so many books, and I think uh, I practice some of them. I don't practice many of them. The one that I really practice is deep conversations now. The one that I really look at is listening as a tool. Listening as a tool. Let's do a quick demo. Are you up for a demo? I know we didn't discuss this, but you said you might want to have a.
Yes, yes.
So let's do it. So pick something for which if you had the answer, it would be so amazing for you in your life. Pick a question for which if the universe gave you an answer, you would be like, wow, that is amazing. What would that question be for you? Personal or professional?
Maybe maybe it's a more like a fundamental question, of do I need to have a plan for everything? Because I often ask myself, do I need to plan everything, or sometimes, it just happens and I should accept it? I've been asking this question a lot.
Do I need to plan everything? Right. Now, if you had to start that question with what or how, reframe the question using what or how.
So what do I need to plan, or how do I need to plan this?
Okay. One of the two. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to include one of these 4 words: be, being, become, or becoming. Choose any one of those 4 words and add it to your question. And reframe the whole question for yourself.
So it's be, being, becoming, or?
Be, being, become, or becoming. So, for example, how do I become, or who do I have to be? Something like that.
Or maybe something like, should I even be in control of everything? Like,
Should I
when
be?
I ask, should I be in control of everything? If I think, do I really need to plan everything? I should ask myself, should I even be in control of everything? Because maybe like I feel like I should, but I don't even want this. And should I even do this?
Okay. So again,
Does it
I
make sense?
suggest you. It makes sense. It makes sense. So instead of using should I, because it becomes a close-ended question, I'm inviting you to make it more open-ended by asking a what or a how question.
How do? I am lost. I am lost right now.
Okay, let me give you a suggestion. See if it lands for you.
Yes.
How can I win or succeed without planning for everything?
And maybe how can I be more at peace, if
Okay.
I'm, not planning everything. If not
Okay.
everything that I plan goes the way I plan, how can I be at peace with what is happening?
Okay. How can I be at peace with what is happening? Does that sound like a better question?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you see, that was a journey of arriving at clarity for the question that you will play the game. We have not even started the game yet, right?
And now
So,
I can help and answer myself how can I actually be at peace, and that will help me understand why do I even need to plan everything.
so very quickly we'll open cards for you. This is an insight card for you. The first one that is coming up for you is this.
So it's inverted for me. Can you read that for me, please? Because it's inverted on my side.
So it says, second chances are the threads of our moral fabric.
Oh.
Second chances are the threads of our moral fabric. And it's interesting.
Yes,
So what do
and
you
it
make
is
of that?
pretty much connect.
Yeah. So what do you make of that?
I feel like it's a little bit connected with if not everything goes the way I plan, how can I be at peace as that? And sometimes, maybe like sometimes we even get a second chance, because not, sometimes maybe we get the second chance exactly because it's such a profound topic to talk right now, and I can be at peace if something doesn't go as planned, because I know that maybe if I don't always have a second chance, I will have another door being opened for me, and nobody knows if this door that is being opened for me is, maybe it's even better than what I originally planned.
So to reframe what you're just saying, what I'm
Uh-huh.
hearing is this: you're saying the second chance is actually the plan,
Yes, it's actually a part of the plan still. Yes, yes.
right? I'm going to open a challenge card for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never recover from this setback.
Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be a challenge that I encounter, right?
So right now you're saying something didn't go as
Mm-hmm.
per your plan, which means you had a setback.
It means a
Now,
setback.
so when you face something like that, do you see yourself where you're beating yourself and saying, why did I do that? Or do you go into that mode
Maybe
of,
maybe at the beginning of our conversation, I would think something like this, but now as we discuss the second chances and how to be at peace with that, I feel like there's just no way I should treat it as a setback.
so what you did
Just
is
no
you
way.
reframed your challenge already, right?
Yes, yes, already.
And that's a conversation you're having with yourself. It's on the topic of what we're talking over here. You just reframed your conversation with yourself, right?
I love it. I love this game.
The last one,
And
I
we
mean,
have
there's
another
two more.
card.
There,
Uh-huh.
so there is two more cards. One is a power card. The power card says creativity. Just one word, creativity.
Mm-hmm. Creativity. How can I connect my
So
huh?
power is coming into your life, and you can make it your superpower. So when things don't go your way, how do you convert this power into your superpower? What would you do if you had the power of creativity?
The power of I feel that creativity, it doesn't just it's not just about making music or being a painter. Creativity, we are being creative in every single aspect of our life. I think so. And if you feel like you're gotten yourself in a situation which has no way out, or you think that you're experiencing a setback, something doesn't go as planned, with a little bit of creativity, I think we can come up with even better plan as we treat it as a plan, as you originally planned.
What is your definition of the
Being
word
creative
creativity?
helps a lot.
What is your
What is my
definition?
definition?
The word creativity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you define that word?
For for me, creativity is just thinking outside of, terms, outside of the box. When you don't think that, we have a process and we just gotta follow this step by step. No, we can deviate a little bit, change places, deviate, create another step that, was not originally in the process that we established, but this particular process requires another, set of points that we need to adjust, and for me, this is also creativity, just trying to think of the new ways you can make something better, more beautiful, whatever it is.
Do you see that you're someone who embraces creativity? In this interview, you have been open to this whole idea of playing the game without even discussing about it.
Yes, I do think so. Yes.
All right. So you have that as a superpower. It's just about how do you amplify it in every aspect of your life.
And you know what I can pinpoint, if I was to, if I didn't, if the challenge that we discussed, when you treat it as a setback, I feel like the more challenging, you treat the situation, the less creativity is left within you. Because when you treat something as a setback, it deprives you of your creativity. But if you embrace it, it gives you even more creativity to come up with something better. It's intertwined, right?
Magical. That's magical. That's a beautiful insight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so how I,
Absolutely.
so how I define the word insight is, and this is for all the listeners out there also, whoever is listening. I think Insight is not what happens on the outside, it's what happens on the inside. It's like a door inside your mind opens up and you just find a whole new possibility that just opened up for you because of the neuron connections that you have made. And when that happens, your clarity just becomes even more brighter for you, right? I'm going to open the last card for you.
Yes.
This is your vision card, and this is an image.
Road. I actually expected something like this.
So this is a
I
railway
gotta be
track. What you
honest, I
see,
expected something like this. Mm-hmm.
this is a railway track. What you see over here is a railway track. So what do you make of it?
For me, it's the road. It's the road that is ahead of me and is going to be beautiful if I embrace the gifts that I have and I become more at peace with what's happening.
If I embrace or when I embrace?
When, because it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the game. And how do you like it?
Well, it was absolutely engaging. I would love to learn more about the game, and I know you sent it to me, so I'd like to learn more about this. And I would like to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this super engaging conversation, because it didn't feel like I was just asking you questions. We actually showed with example how the power of conversation can help us.
Absolutely.
It's one of the best interviews I had so far, I gotta say. It's not even an interview. It was just a conversation, as you say it. So I hope our audience enjoyed this conversation as well. And if you did, I highly encourage you to check the caption and see how you can work with Samir, because he is super duper wonderful.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Samir, for
Thank you.
joining me today. That was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was
Thank
all my
you.
pleasure. Thank you so much.